Okay, I see that do you know the topic that we have tonight?
Oh, what is it?
Yes, in-laws.
Yes, relationships between a young couple and their in-laws visiting, and is it exciting or stressful?
No?
Is it exciting or stressful? Rav, you tell us.
I'm asking you.
It's stressful.
Stressful. Yeah.
That's a good one.
For some are exciting and for some is misery.
It's exciting for the grandkids. The grandkids always love seeing their grandparents. Stressful for the daughter-in-laws, I think.
How do we solve that, Rabbi?
Okay, we'll find a way. We'll find a way. That's what we're here for. Okay. So the test of the confrontation between the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law, but mamash when they see each other face to face, not over the phone. It's at the time when they visiting, the in-laws coming to visit. The visit in the house of the children can be under certain conditions. It can be even a holiday. And if you know how to do it, from all aspects, how long to stay, and why are you coming? It can be something that very much building a family relationship for the young couple among themselves and between them and the parents. It can be something mamash, a chag, a holiday, if you know what you're doing. There's two types. Sometimes we, as the kids, going to the parents, and sometimes they're coming to us. This is what we're waiting all our life, to this, to the nacha, to see it. Our kids coming to us. I'm going to my parents for Shabbat. No. What else can you ask? Visit like that can be exciting, emotional, and a very pleasant experience, especially for the grandchildren. When they hear Saba and Savta, they coming, oh, Sisu v'simchun, yeah. And especially when the Saba and Savta, the young, let's say in the 40s, yeah. So the visit can be something very alive, full of surprises, good surprises, not a bad one, especially for the kids. Because usually in such a visit, the kids they can stay awake longer than they should, right? Saba and Sabta is here. We don't want to go to sleep now. I said, okay, Saba and Sabta is here. Yes. Oh, so they're excited. Tonight we can get out of the routine. For kids, it's very exciting. Of course, whatever I said until now sounds very nice, right?
Yes.
When the two sides, they behaving cleverly. Like any other thing in life, is good as long as is within the boundaries, in the right measure, and it was planned very nicely. And it's going, and it goes according to the plan. But if it's not going according to the plan, so the best thing that other people can enjoy, for you, it will be hell. And it's going to cause stressful situation that is going to be very difficult for both sides, for the young couple and for the parents. And that's what we want, and that's what we don't want. Because what happened? Every lady over here knows when your in-laws coming to visit, you're getting very much stressful. Yes?
Yes.
You feel like the inspector of the building department coming to inspect now. Aren't we?
The building they sold last night, they're inspecting today. Yes.
Because if the house is not, neat, organized, and is not perfect, if other people will come, not only you in-laws, your friends even, they'll come to visit, you will get under pressure. What they're gonna say. So imagine when your in-laws are coming to visit, how under pressure you are, how stressful you are, because their house is like a business card. This is a business card. That's what you want to show. I know how to run a house. And imagine that she got for the engagement silverware, a kiddush cup, and candle holders, and so on. And the silver became black. You didn't have time to polish it. Because you're afraid when your mother-in-law will go out, she will say to your father-in-law, oh, did you see? It's brand new. How come it's so black? Why she don't clean it? Probably she's lazy. Chaval, we spend so much money Anyway, they don't appreciate it. I don't have to tell you what's like that. Yes? We all know. Another aspect. Surprise visiting, it's something very terrible. And not good at all. And you have to restrain from this. Nobody likes surprises. And especially not the young couple, and especially not the young lady that just got married. Because what happened? The house is not fixed. And the young lady, the Kala, now she has to apologize, and she's saying, look at what she's saying. Please don't pay attention to the balagan. Do you know what happened when you're saying this? I'll give you one guess.
They will do pay attention to it.
Huh?
They will definitely pay attention to it.
Now you're inviting them to look like Inspector, where is the balagan? Because you're saying, excuse me, don't pay attention to the balagan. And now you want to see automatically where is the balagan. And of course, the idea was what? I have to defend myself. The young lady wants to defend herself that the house is messed up. It's a mess because nobody told her that you're coming. It was a surprise. Who likes surprises like that?
No way.
So, in surprise visiting, the Kala, she feels very uncomfortable. First of all, maybe she don't have enough what to put on the table. She didn't go shopping. Nobody told her that they're coming. And if there is something in the house, maybe it's not enough to put in such important visitors. So how would you feel now? So to the parents over here, they have married children. And you say, okay, we're passing by. Let's go inside and see what's going on. You're not knocking on the door. You say, if my son will know that I pass by here and I will not go in, probably he will get very upset. How come he didn't knock on the door and come in? He can jump up and down. The parents are right, don't do that. What you can do, you can call. And say, we're in the neighborhood. If everything is okay with you and don't feel uncomfortable to tell us that you cannot come because we're busy now, we'll understand you very nicely. And that's what we will do if we want to respect the young couple. Usually parents take a very defensive standing and they say, until we get to the neighborhood of heroes. And what, it was so difficult for them not to invite us in. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it is. That's why you must. And we spoke about it many times. I remember that you were asking me. Yes. And I want to repeat it again. The parents must to inform on any visit that they want to do in advance. And to come to terms. When to come, what time, when the kids are going to be up, they're not going to be up, who is home, who is not home, who doesn't feel well. There is so many things. Because if you're not going to do it, the problem will not stop here. It's going to go on and on and on, especially by the young lady, by the newlywed, the kala, that she's going to think, who knows what my mother-in-law thinking about me? And on the house that was upside down. And this kind of suspicious, who knows what she thinks about me, they can cause a very, very bad atmosphere in the family. Because now the kala feel threatened because she got caught when the house was a mess. And now every word that will come out of the mouth of the mother-in-law, the young lady over here will interpret it that it belonged to the visit that she was there. She is hinting me. It might be that Bichlal, she forgot about it. But you have guilt feelings and the low self-esteem and the guilt feelings that you have, we're going to see it. It's going to mess up the relationship between you and the mother-in-law because she decided with her husband to come without any notice. And many times I heard, what? Do we have to call our kids when they're coming? Where this is coming from? They don't even understand what I'm saying. And it's something very elementary. It's something that it makes sense to everybody. Now, my advice to the parents. Many times you're calling your kids. Can we come? Pitoom you hear from the other side. Yeah, you should come. Why not? Very good. Please come. It's very good that you're coming. The children will be very happy. My advice to the parents, open up your ears and listen to the tune. Because every nuance between the words It will send you a signal if באמת the couple want you to come, or they're only trying to be polite, but באמת they're not interested at the moment for you to come. Because you have to know before you pick up the phone to call, what is the day structure of the couple. Maybe the time that we coming, they're putting the kids to sleep. Maybe it's time to do homework with the kids. And when you coming, is going to destroy the chinuch. Maybe it's in 1 day or 2 days, it's Chag, and she is busy now with the holiday, or close to Shabbat. And the young lady, anyway, she's not that experienced, and now she is taking a longer. And this kind of a visit can interrupt very much her preparation for the Shabbat or for the Chag or whatever it is. Another thing that is very common, Saba and Savta, every time they're coming, they're not coming empty-handed, right? Aren't we all like to spoil our grandchildren? Yeah? Oh, what an enjoyment is this. Poof. Our pockets full of all the goodies that you can think of. And the kids are waiting for that. Saba is coming. Savta is coming. Who knows what they have now? They're waiting for this. But you have to take under consideration that the young couple have a different way of chinuch. They don't want the kids to eat all the junk. They have a different way that they've been raised. They want to take a different route. It's their privilege. That's what they want. It's their kids. Example, Saba and Savta brought a lot of goodies, as usual. It's contradicting the chinuch that you're giving at home. Especially when the parents of the husband, they're coming to visit, and then the kala, having a difficult time to say something to the father-in-law, and more than him, to the mother-in-law. And the Saba and the Savta, from love that they have for the children, they forget the need to be on the same page with the new couple over here. They have to know which way they raising the kids. So if you're smart parents, you're asking your son or his wife, I don't know how you're raising your kids, and we don't know what you're implementing in your home. if we're gonna bring the goodies that we want to bring, is it okay with you? Or if it's not okay, we'll think about something else. You tell us, what can we bring to the kids? Does it make any sense to you now?
Yes, Rav.
That's the way it should work. We're respecting each other. The parents have to respect your way of, and you will say what you want them to bring. So now we have no confrontation. We're on the same page. Now, another problem is when the kids knows that the parents don't like when they eat sweets and they're not satisfied from that. But when Saba and Savta, they're coming, the parents, they know, okay, let them have it. So what happened? In a way, and by the way, this kind of behavior without Saba and Savta knowing about this, the parents' authority is becoming very weak. Example, the parents saying to the children, keep the goodies for the morning. At night is not good because you're not going to be able to sleep. And what Saba and Savta will say, no?
It's okay, let them eat it. We don't come all the time.
Exactly, very good. We're not coming every day. It's once, Let them enjoy it, no. Let them enjoy it. Why you have to spoil the happiness now? Go, eat, go. Of course, when we're saying it's not so terrible, it's every time when they're coming to visit. So in a way, you're causing your children a damage in the chinuch. Instead of being on the same page, you're working, without even you knowing, you're working against them. And this is not acceptable. Another thing that we have to think about, how the children behaving when Saba and Savta coming. The situation becomes very sensitive. The Kala, the young lady, she's very sensitive now to the behavior of her kids. Why? Because she thinks, maybe she's right, that the father-in-law and the mother-in-law, they're testing her now. Now they came to test how the children behaving, and if they're not behaving right, what do you think Saba and Savta will say?
Why don't you discipline them? What's going on? Killing?
Oh,
Teach them. Why don't you teach them?
She is under pressure. Why?
And the children are not behaving as usual. They're like turning upside down.
Yes,
I don't know
Yes.
why.
yes. Because they testing her according to what they used to. They coming from different generation. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 generations before. No matter what you're going to do, the older ones are not going to agree with what you're doing. Because they used to other way of chinuch. And we all know what it was. Yes, we spoke about it so many times. And the outcome is, every time the kala, the young lady hearing that the in-laws are coming, she gets under pressure. And she is screaming on the kids, on their behavior. And the kids have, senses, and they can feel that something strange going on in the house. Ima, she is very stressful. Usually she's very calm. And she don't scream at us. Only when Saba and Savta come in, she losing herself. She start to scream at us. And thinks that if Saba and Savta are not here, she don't pay attention. And the children, they fighting back. And Ima get even more angry now. And she gets more and more angry. And she's screaming louder. And the children, they reacting accordingly. And it's like a circle, it's going. Same. So now what we engrave in the memory of the Kala. When my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, they come in here, I have difficulties with my kids. My kids are not behaving. She taking the responsibility out of herself and she throwing it on her in-laws. They are at fault. Why? Because one time the mother-in-law said, why are they so wild? Why they cannot sit down? That's enough. My advice to all of you is, when you're coming to visit, put an invisible Band-Aid on your mouth. Or you do ta'anit dibur. What the kids are doing, not your problem. What they're eating, not your business. So the mother-in-law innocently, she said, why they not sitting by the table, why they not behaving. Okay. And now it's like a ball that's starting to roll, and who knows where it's going to lead. The atmosphere in the house become a terrible one between the couple and the kids, and of course with the parents that came to visit. Why are you coming? You're messing up our life. When you are not here, everything is okay. It happens, and I saw it before. And Saba and Savta, they showing special love to one of the children. And they showing to this child extra love and they'll do for this child everything. And even worse than that, every time they come, they bring in very special gifts, not like the other ones. Exactly like Yaakov and Yosef. But in a different version. Over there it was Abba and the child, over here Saba and Savta with the grandchild. And it's very much emotionally put a stress on the wife. Because she's seeing it, she assuming why they loving this child more than my other kids. What my other kids did to them, they also good kids. Why Davka this child? The name of the child is like the same name of the father of my mother-in-law. So every time she call him or she see him, she say, he remind me my father. And automatically she pour in more love on him. Or she's saying this child exactly like our family. Meaning she cut the kala out, your side is blue. He exactly belong to our character.
Oh, that hurts so much. Oh, I heard that when I was young.
This child is exactly like my brothers. He remind me my brothers.
So good like our family.
Yeah. So how the kala accepting it, meaning our side of the family, bichlal not on the agenda.
Yeah, she's young. She doesn't know. And the mother-in-law didn't even mean it.
I don't know. But it sounds like that her side is not important. And from here until developing a relationship of hatred, the road is very short. Anyway, she she is not even saying that our side is important, only their side is important. That's how we're going to interpret it, if you want, if you don't want. Outcome is the proper way to do things is Saba and Savta have to remind themselves they're coming only to a short while. Meaning, in Hebrew we say, Oreach lerega. You are a guest for a moment. You're not there to dwell. You're there, hi, okay? Make it as short as possible, and bye-bye.
What about
And
staying
the
for Shabbat?
ah,
What about staying for Shabbat?
oh, we'll get to it soon.
All right.
Yeah. Now, the mission, how to raise these kids and how to give them a proper chinuch, it's the obligation of their son and his wife. They had their share already with their children. Meaning over here, you have nothing to say. If they're coming to ask for your advice, so that's something else. But if they're not asking any advice, meaning our job is to do what? Keep
Quiet.
Yeah.
good.
But
Yes.
there's a saying by the older generation that it takes a village to raise a child. What if the parents have that kind of excuse?
It takes a village.
Meaning more than one person to raise a child, right?
Yeah, it takes two people, Abba and Ima.
But they say the village, the whole town is involved.
The whole town is involved, then the child will wind up in LIJ.
So what do you say to these kind of parents? That's what they say.
I think the question is if the parents are helping with the children and the raising of the children, like babysitting, and they are part of it, then like not to be disrespectful.
Maybe they felt an obligation because you're not doing your job right as the parents. They want to say how to raise.
Right.
Okay. So let me advise something. The generation before and the generation now, the difference is like between East and West. And I don't want to talk about my time because we spoke about it many times. There's not even comparison. So, with all due respect, what the village knows about chinuch,
Not today's generation. Won't work.
Hashem sent these kids to the parents for a purpose. He didn't send this kid to the village.
When they say village, they mean themselves. They want to be involved in the child raising.
They cannot. They cannot. You can be advisor, maybe. Only if they're asking you, and you know that the advice that you're giving is the right one, which I have doubt also. because you're not there 24/7. You don't know where this behavior is coming from. You don't know if the child having trouble emotionally and the parents are not picking it up yet, and the grandparents for sure will not pick it up. Unless the people who deal with chinuch, that's something else. You see, when you're young and you get so many advices from so many people, at the end, you're gonna be messed up and your child even more messed up. So we have to accept the way that the kids, our kids, raising their kids. We have to accept. I can disagree. Yes, but I have to accept it. So let me give you a good advice. Shlomo HaMelech says, "Hoker raglecha mibet re'echa, pen isna'eka." You have a friend and you mamash very good friends, and almost every day you are there. Shlomo HaMelech says this kind of relationship at the end will bring hatred.
Rob, could you repeat that line one more time? Sorry.
Hoker raglecha מבית רעך פן ישנאך. Stay away from the house of your friends. I is my friend. We're getting along very good. We understand each other very well. Pen, at the end, what's going to be? It's Naika. He's going to hate you.
Why, Rob? I'm a little lost. Why is he going to hate you, Rob?
Because you keep coming and you keep coming and you keep coming. Something will come up.
Meaning eventually you'll tell them over what's going on in your house, and that's what's going to...
In our language, we're saying, the farther it is,
The better.
The sweeter you are.
the sweeter you are.
Bukharian say, Durtar Adistar.
בדיוק. Exactly.
Kodorav, it says, Oker or Akor?
Hoker, hey, vav, kuf resh.
Even between parents and kids?
So this is my next line. Hoker raglecha מבית ילדיך.
Oh,
Stay on the sideline. I know that we want very much to come and to help and to see the kids and everything. And don't get me wrong, the kids need Saba and Safta. It's a very important element in their life, is Saba and Safta. But the kunz is they have to chase after you and you not after them.
if they ask for your help, then go. If not, then don't go, you mean.
Sorry, Rabbi.
Usually,
I have a
usually,
question.
one second. Usually, it's much easier to deal with the daughter, your daughter, than a daughter-in-law. Your daughter, you have a language with her, right? So when you're coming to her house, you feel much more comfortable than going to your son's house. Because
Does this apply to in-laws or to the parents too?
what everybody. You see, you going to the parents, it's fine. But also the behavior have to be a good one. It's a very well-known fact in our community, and that's what I'm talking to. Sometimes the mother-in-law, they're saying things that my ears will pop. They're letting themselves too loose. Their tongue is very loose. And they're saying terrible things.
But I have a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
I have a neighbor, so her mother-in-law comes to her house. She has kids, obviously, older ones. She always points at them, why don't you teach your kids how to say thank you? They're already old enough to understand that when they get something, they have to show appreciation. And she constantly told her that. And then at the point she got upset at her mother-in-law, and she said, please don't teach me how to raise my kids. I know how to raise my kids myself. And when she said that, the mother-in-law got very aggravated, very upset, and now she's not talking to her. How is she supposed to respond to this? Because I just had a conversation with her yesterday, and I said, oh, you know what? My Ravs just started, giving the shiurim how to act with the in-laws. So she told me, can you please ask the rabbi, what do I do in this situation? Do I leave it the way it is? Or like she doesn't even talk to me, and she always puts me down in front of my kids.
Where is the husband?
He's at home, but by Bukharians, it's asur to say something to the parents, so he's keeping quiet.
Welcome to the Bukharian land. What's the problem? He goes to his ima and will talk with respect. You had your chance already to raise us. Now Hashem gave us these kids. Now we have our time. You don't have to tell us what to do. We want to learn it on our own. Back to the communication. It's not one time, it's not two times. I'm telling you thousands of times. I got an image of a parents like the kids were talking about their parents or the in-laws like them in monsters. When I met them in my office, not fitted the description. Nice people, I spoke to them, I explained them, they accepted it, and everything fell into place. I'm telling you, all this is coming because the daughter-in-law always she feels threatened. If the parents are smart, okay, maybe they should find a third party that close to them, and then talk to the third party and say, these kids need some, adjustment. We don't want to interfere. But I know that you close to them. Maybe you can do the job. There is a way. So, the mistake was from the mother-in-law.
Sorry, Rabbi.
Yeah.
But I also want to make the in-laws, for example, to feel comfortable. So we can't really push them away too much, because after they're gonna also feel like like we don't want them.
To push them away, it's not nice. For sure not. I say we have to find time that is comfortable for both sides, okay? It has to be planned. Everything has to be planned. So if it's planned and everybody knows what it's supposed to do, so it's going to be very exciting evening.
But what if one side of the family, they come without any planning, and the other side, they always have to make a plan, and because my parents, they live in Canada, so when they come, they come for to stay a few days. That's why I ask you these questions.
Yeah, that's a good question. So now they have to know that they're coming to the house of their son, not their daughter. So I don't know if they're capable enough, but the daughter-in-law, it's her house now, and she's setting up the rules, and we have to follow. You cannot come to somebody else's house and take over. Who is going to accept it?
But what if it's the other way around? What if the Kala's parents come and stay, for example?
Yeah. So, if you are in a good terms with your wife, okay, and her parents knows how to behave, and usually our people, they behave very nicely to the husband. The victim most of the time is the ladies. So if her parents are coming, I think it's much easier. Because they're going to tell her, you're not making enough, you don't giving enough respect to your husband. Don't do this. Don't do that. When Ima will tell it to her, she will accept it. When a mother-in-law will tell her, you're not respecting my son, put your gloves on. That's going to be a war zone. It's a very touchy situation, it's a very touchy one. And I don't have to tell you how many damages it did how many fights erupt. And I'm ashamed even to say it, but I have to say it. You don't know how many divorces it costs. Again, everything that is important and the visit is important can be something very positive, very good, benefiting, and it can be on the other side devastating. Devastating.
Cordella, can we do a session on what the daughter-in-law could do to repair a situation? Because sometimes it's kind of hard to expect somebody else to change. We're supposed to change ourselves, right?
Yeah, so
Well, aside from being nice, as we discussed before, because sometimes if there's already a negative relationship, like anything that happens could be interpreted as a negative thing, right? So how can we reduce that tension?
I have to know the situation. I have to know who are the candidates, how well they are emotionally, and then I can give advice. But just off the bat, give you advice.
Okay.
Not professional. Okay, I think it's time for questions now. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you think of play dates for kids?
Of what?
Play dates.
Which mean what?
Well, kids going over to their classmates' houses.
To sleep there or what?
No, not to sleep, like for a couple of hours to play, like without the parents' supervision. I mean, there might be an adult in that house, but without their parents.
How old they are?
5.
What's the problem with it?
Okay, just wanted to ask.
Rabbi, I have a question.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is there an age that they shouldn't be going to other people's houses?
Of course, when they're becoming teenagers.
No play dates, no more.
Who is there?
An adult, the parent.
Yeah. And even if the parents are there, if I have a child which is a teenager and the other house have boys and girls, no way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How should a person deal with either parents or in-laws that are extremely sensitive? Meaning that, like, no matter what you say, they get offended. I guess part of
What
it
do
is
you
like,
mean? What do you mean?
like no matter what you say, that they're very, very sensitive. They get offended very quickly, even when you mean the best, and you're not trying to say anything bad. I'm not doing or saying anything that's wrong, or God forbid, I'm not out of line, but yet they're so sensitive that they can get hurt very quickly.
So why it's your problem?
So because you don't want to hurt them, because we're obligated to respect them, right?
But if something is wrong with them, what you can do? Are you a psychiatrist?
So as long as we are not crossing any line, we
Yeah,
should not worry.
yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
May I ask a question, please?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you. What do you do when the parents will say something that's not according to your standards? So, like the first example that the Rav gave, when they'll come with, candies, and the parents will say you can have it tomorrow, and they'll say no, let them have it. It's not all the time. It's okay, and they'll do this in front of your children. So what do you say to the parents? And they're doing this in front of the children, and you can't talk back, you can't say anything, because then that's also ruining the chinuch of your children, because the children are seeing you act that way to your parents. So even if you would go to the side and talk to your mother, father, mother-in-law, whoever it is, at the end of the day, your children still saw how they undermined your authority, and now they're looking at you like, okay, what's the big deal? So how do you fix that up between your child and between the in-laws at the same time, or the parents? If I made myself clear.
Yeah. So if it's the parents of your husband, you should call them up and tell them, please, we don't want you to bring any candies for the kids. If you want, you can give it to me, and we'll keep it for the kids until Yom Shabbat, if you have such a rule. As a shita, as a rule, no one can give your children anything unless he will ask you. Can I give it to the child, yes or no?
Mm-hmm. And if they were to disagree with you in front of your children, in such cases,
chutzpanim.
But how do you then? How does one then deal with that situation in the moment?
Depends which parents are that. If it's your side, you'll take care of them, and if it's his side, he will take care of them.
But not in the moment.
You can say, "Oh, thank you, kids. Can I have it, please? We have a deal over here, only for Shabbat." And you take it away from the kids.
All right. I'm just thinking that that'll just aggravate the parents and will cause it to have more of a problem at the moment.
It's not your problem, it's their problem.
Okay. Thank you, Koda.
Well, as an idea, why their problems become your problem?
Because the children are looking at what's going on. They're seeing the dynamic between now how the mother, for example, is getting frustrated with whatever they're bringing or whatever they're doing and is disagreeing. And then it's hard for the child because the child sees two different things, two different dynamics. It's not an agreement.
Okay. So you say with a smile on your face, you say, "Oh, thank you very much, such a nice candies." Right, kids? So give it to him, please. Right? We're going to give it to you only Yom Shabbat. Yes? And the kids say, "No, okay, we're going to keep it for Shabbat." Yes? And Abba will join in and say, "Yeah, only for Shabbat, only for Shabbat."
Okay.
So there is a diplomacy, Rabbi, between farmers and cucumbers.
You can get out from any situation if you know what you're doing.
For the Rav.
Yes.
If your child is overweight a little bit and your mother-in-law keeps telling
like keep commenting on it and saying how much to eat, what to do to the child, not to the parent. And you're trying to defend the child, but it never stops. And the child get offended. So what do you do in this situation? Do you let it be, or you just talk to the mother-in-law on the side?
You think by talking to her, you're going to change her?
No, but in one way, you don't want to hurt your child.
So when they're coming and they're not able, either they don't come, and if they come, you should make sure that this child of yours is not home.
They coming from Israel for 1 month or for 3 weeks, so for
בשעה טובה ומוצלחת.
you cannot avoid them.
Send them to camp. I don't know what you're going to do. But if they don't know how to keep quiet, so you talk to your child and tell them, you know.
Rav,
Yeah.
someone asked me a question to read out loud. Can you please ask if mother-in-law and daughter-in-law get along and they're friendly, is it okay? Or is it better to keep distance?
No, it's very good.
Okay.
It's very good. What's wrong with it? That's what we want, actually.
Thank you for answering the question.
Because we have the same interests. Why we should be enemies?
So Rav, let's say you are, just to add my own question now, if you are close with your mother-in-law and you're on good relationships, if you feel comfortable to tell her yourself directly in a very respectful way, can you do that? Like, let's say she mentioned something in front of you about your child and you say, Ma, I understand and I care, but you know what? Today's generations are different, just like your kids are different. Within 3 kids you have, so are my kids. They're different generations, and you explain it to them. Is that okay to do?
Yeah, if the relationship is okay, so they can say it, yes.
Rob,
yeah.
It's not a parent that's commenting on your child, but rather a sibling. Like your own sibling is commenting on your child.
What do you mean?
Like he's giving musar on how to discipline our children.
One of the brothers
or sisters, yeah.
First of all, is a chutzpah. That's number 1. Number 2, again, I'll come to the same point. Did Hashem give you the kids or he gave to him? Huh?
Was, yeah, no.
What?
Kids to the parents, yeah.
Is he expert in chinuch or what?
No, he's not at all.
No. So why are you taking it so seriously?
Some people are very sensitive and emotional. They get like that, you know. I'm not talking about myself in particular. It's about somebody else.
Yeah, I know. You know, to judge is very easy. And the Torah says, Al tadun et chaverach ad shtagia limkomo. Don't judge your friend until you're going to be in the same situation that he is. I know that many people, they don't know how to keep their mouth shut. I know. It's a problem. Especially when it comes to raise kids. Even the experts today, we're having a tough time. So you don't know even Aleph yet, can you keep your thoughts for yourself? It's coming from people who are not intelligent. So my advice, don't get offended.
But what if you think they're not intelligent, but they think of very high about themselves? They feel like they know everything. You don't know anything. They know what they're doing. They know what they're telling you.
Especially in front of the kids, Rav, and it makes it worse.
You know, if you ask a drunk person, are you drunk? He'll tell you, you're drunk. And you cannot even walk.
Rav, how do you react in front of the kids if it's happening in front of the kids? Meaning they don't come to take you on the side and say, maybe you should try this tactic, but it's in front of the kids at the moment. How do you react then? Like, do you stay quiet? Because if you say something, then it's such a balagan, it makes it worse. And you're also aggravated because your kid is not listening. You're trying to remain calm. So is it better just be quiet and say, okay, or?
Can we speak about it later on? Not in front of my kids, please.
But Quarav, the child already heard it. They specifically say it to the child's face, and the child hears this on and on and on.
Okay.
And then eventually the child gets aggravated and gets upset at that person. How do we do that? Because the child has already hatred that builds.
So let me ask you a question. If somebody have a corona, are you going to invite him to your house?
No.
That's my answer to you.
But Rav, what if it's in the in-laws' house? You went for Shabbat. You don't see them every day.
I will not go. I know that you're not accustomed to all this, right? But if somebody wants to damage my kids, why should I let it happen?
Are we allowed to tell the child, like wink at them when there's a comment like that, to like ahead of time to tell them, like you're a good kid and this and that, like don't pay attention? Are we allowed to do that, or is it also bad?
It's not gonna help. Because it's coming from the people that he respects, the grandparents.
But Rav, what if the kids want to go, even though situations come up? Not all the time. I'm just wondering, is it okay if they themselves want to go into their grandparents?
They love their grandparents. They love them. But we have to be very careful.
Okay.
Rebbe, can I ask a question?
Yeah, you're the last one, okay? Our time is up. Okay.
If the mother or the father are acting up towards the kids in front of people, are you allowed to tell the parents to kind of quiet down or relax?
You take the kid and you disappear.
No, you're not the parent. You're in someone's house, let's say a sibling's house, and the parents are reprimanding the child in front of everybody at the Shabbat table. Do you tell something to the parents? Say, can you do it off the table? Can you take it privately? Why do we have to hear the whole?
You keep quiet. I know that your stomach will turn upside down. Yes. But it's not your kids.
What about the child's parent?
What about them?
Can they tell the parents to
They're doing it.
take it privately?
They're doing it to the child.
Right, the cases where the parents are reprimanding the child in front of all the guests and all the people, and you want to tell the parents to kind of do it on their own time. So Rebbe's saying just sit quietly, don't say anything, just let it go.
Yeah, because they're embarrassing their own child in front of everybody. It's not the right thing to do.
Thank you, Rebbe.
This you don't do. Okay, have a good night. To be continued.
Thank you so much, Rav. Thank you.
Tomorrow the topic will be, let me see, what's the topic will be? Okay, how to be a good mother-in-law.
Nice.
Thank you, Rav. Good night.
Too early to learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
It's not too early to learn.
That's right. Thank you, Rav.
Thank you,
Sorry,
Rabbi.
Rabbi, what's the schedule for the lectures?
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
The earlier you learn, the better off you are.
Absolutely. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock and at 9 o'clock at night, minute session.
Thank you so much.
Is
Good
it
night, everybody. Good
is
night.
it the same every week? Those
Yeah.
2 days?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Night, Rav. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you.